Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to a later episode of Before Coffee. It's Wacky and Weird Wednesday. What weird stuff has been going on this week, or maybe even last week? We're going to cover it today with some, a lot of puns are coming, so get ready for that. Let's go ahead and cover our headlines. Today on Before Coffee. Ecuador deems drug gangs terrorist group after live TV attack.
And the SEC gets hacked. And a man goes fishing at the Bass Pro Shops.
Family finds crocodile hiding in chicken coop. And an Indian man punches a bag for 55 hours and 15 minutes.
In more punching news, officers investigating an altercation between Lauren Boebert and her ex-husband. And we take another look at that Alaska Airlines plane that flew apart.
Why has MSG axed plans to build a Vegas-style sphere in London? We're going to tell you why.
Those stories and more on National Houseplant Appreciation Day, January 10th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
All right. Plant appreciation. For the serious news coming out of Ecuador, this is your news with agencies. The country has been plunged into chaos. I forgot to turn on my music. Okay, there you go. The country has been plunged into chaos after its most notorious gang leader and drug lord, Adolfo Macias, escaped from prison on Sunday. Facing a surge in violence, Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa on Tuesday issued a revised decree designating 20 drug gangs as terrorist groups. It also authorized the military to neutralize them within the bounds of international humanitarian law. The country has been plunged into chaos after its most notorious gang leader escaped prison. He was due to be transferred to a maximum security facility that day. Macias' whereabouts remain unknown. On Monday, Noboa declared a 60-day state of emergency in response to the wave of attacks inside and outside prisons that have seen police and prison guards murdered. Then on Tuesday, there was a string of violent incidents, including one in which a masked man broke onto the set of a public television channel, waving guns and explosives during a live broadcast. This prompted the president to revise his initial decree, recognizing an internal armed conflict and identifying the gangs as terrorist groups. The takeover of the TV station was broadcast live for 15 minutes. The National Police Chief later announced the authorities had arrested all 13 of the masked intruders. They will be charged with terrorism, a crime that could see them to face up to 13 years in prison. Ecuador has been a relatively peaceful country in the past, but in recent years it has seen an explosion of violence. Noboa, who took office in November, had his promise to stem drug trade-related violence. In a message on Instagram, he said he would not stop until he brings back peace to Ecuadorians. So, yep, that's Ecuador for you. They are still looking for the Adolfo. He's still on the run. So I guess keep your eye out for some Ecuadorian drug lords, and stay safe out there in Ecuador. Your story.
Okay, that was a quick one. Okay, here's a story from AP. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, denies a Bitcoin ETF has been approved, says account on Twitter was hacked. The Securities and Exchange Commission said Tuesday that a post sent from agency's account on the social platform X announcing the approval of the long-awaited Bitcoin exchange-traded fund was unauthorized and that the agency's account was hacked. The price of Bitcoin briefly spiked more than $1,000 after the social media post. The SEC grants approval for #Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national securities exchanges. Cryptocurrency investors had already driven Bitcoin's price above $46,000 in anticipation of the approval. An ETF would provide a way to invest in Bitcoin without having to buy the cryptocurrency outright in a crypto exchange such as a Binance or Coinbase. But soon after the initial post appeared, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler said on his personal account that the SEC account was compromised and the SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products. Gensler called the post unauthorized without providing further explanation. Whelp, which is not a real word. Whelp, wrote Corey Klippstein, CEO of Swan Bitcoin. Like many Bitcoin investors, Klippstein had been expecting the agency to approve Bitcoin's ETF potentially as soon as this week. What does whelp mean? That's all you added? Okay. Price of that was great. The price of Bitcoin swung from about 46,730 to just below 48,000 after the unauthorized post hit, and then dropped to around 45,000 after the SEC's denial. It was trading around 46,150 at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Shortly after Gensler's statement, it appeared that the SEC had gotten back in control of the account. It's unclear how the SEC social media account was hacked. All right, so there's a lot of background about how fucked up Twitter is nowadays. So let's skip that and get on to the guy going for a little plunge. You ever want to be famous? Well, here's one guy's way to get famous. This is also AP News. This is, doesn't have a person's name on it. This is Leeds in Alabama. Home of Forrest Gump and George Wallace. A man crashed his car outside a Bass Pro Shop in Alabama, stripped down to his birthday suit, and plunged into the giant aquarium inside the store, police said. The ordeal happened Thursday night in front of shock shoppers in the town just outside Birmingham. Leeds Police Chief Paul Irwin said the 42-year-old Alabama man did a cannonball leap into the aquarium and then stood under a waterfall. He left the water to yell at two officers and dove back into the aquarium. The man eventually climbed over the side of the aquarium and fell to the concrete floor below. Police then apprehended him in the news site AI. The news site AI reported. He faced several charges, including public lewdness, disorderly conduct. The man was in the water for about 5 minutes before officers arrived. Of course, he was asked why he did it, and he just said, "I did it for the halibut." Okay, here comes the fish puns. Any fish puns for me? No fish puns, just a
no fish puns.
Okay. Okay, well, that's the only fish pun I can come up with. So it's a slow morning in the old pun factory. Back to you.
All right, I've never really been a pun master.
You had a whale of a time, something, anything, just
hook, line, and sinker.
What do you think? That. Yeah, what do you think this crime is on a scale of 1 to 10? A scale. Just think of a fish name and throw it in there. It usually has a.
He got cod red-handed.
There you go.
There you go.
Cod red-handed.
Got cod red-handed.
That's when he felt all right doing that cannonball. He said, "Well, they do have a headache."
They do have
a headache.
He has a headache to cannonball.
I have a headache.
All right. In more wacky news about animals, this was January 9th from UPI.com on the Odd newsletter. Wildlife officers in Queensland, Australia responded to a home where residents made a surprising discovery in their chicken coop: a crocodile. The Queensland Department of Environment, Science and Innovation said wildlife officers were dispatched to a home in Capes Hillsborough, north of Mackay, on Monday when residents spotted what they initially thought was a goanna lizard. It turned out to be a crocodile. The reptile was hiding out in the property's chicken coop. Fortunately, all chickens and pets living on the property had been accounted for, Desi said in a news release. The crocodile was loaded into a PVC tube and transported to a Desi facility in Mackay, where officials said it will remain until they find a new home at a licensed farm or zoo. While it isn't unusual to see crocodiles around Mackay, it's unusual to find one in someone's backyard, Senior Wildlife Officer Jane Burns said in the news release. This is a good reminder to everyone in croc country that crocodiles can turn up in unexpected places, so it's important to always be croc-wise. That's right, he said croc-wise. And report all sightings to Desi as soon as you can. So, I don't know if anybody from Australia is watching, but yeah, keep that in mind. And same thing with alligators. If you're living in alligator country, I think the reason this crocodile was in the chicken coop is because it's probably really warm, and they're cold-blooded animals. So they're like, man, this is such a warm and cozy place. I'm gonna take a nap here. Next thing you know, he's being put in a PVC tube, and now he's living somewhere else. He just wanted to be warm for the day. Come on.
That's right.
In more weird and odd news, this is from Ben Hooper. Indian man punches a bag for 55 hours and 15 minutes. But why? Why was this guy punching a bag for 15 hours? This is also from January 9th. A 42-year-old martial artist in India broke a Guinness World Record when he spent 55 hours and 50 minutes throwing punches at a punching bag. Sidhu Shastati was required by Guinness World Record rules to throw at least one punch every 2 seconds and was allowed a 5-minute break each hour, which he was allowed to bank for longer breaks. So if he went for 2 hours, he could have a 10-minute break. If he went to 3 hours, he could have a 15-minute break, I think is what they mean. I have been practicing martial arts for the last 25 years, Kishirti told Guinness World Records. I am interested in contributing to my country, so I decided to attempt this world record. Kishirti broke the previous record by 5 minutes. The pain started at around the 20-hour mark, Kishirti added. At that point, I reminded myself that it was a test of my limits. I believe that if I stayed emotionally strong, I could endure the pain. So he did it. He broke the world record. He looks absolutely... Like, I think this is the picture as he punched on his final punch, and he looks like he's dead. Like, his face is down. He's like this, and he's like, oh god. It's over for me. He went into the zone. He became Buddha, because he is mentally not there anymore. I mean, at some point, you can physically do things without thinking, if you do it long enough. So maybe that's where he was. He was just like, sleeping.
Punch.
And his brain was just like, I'm supposed to be punching a bag. So he just kept doing it, even while he was...
Yeah, don't wake that guy up when he's sleeping.
So good job, Kishirti, for, I guess, breaking the Guinness World Record, and nobody got hurt by that crocodile. On to your story. Stories,
we will continue to monitor the giant reptile situation. Monitors a giant lizard. Never mind. And speaking of punching and bags, Lauren Boebert. She's in the news again. Officers investigating apparent altercation between Lauren Boebert and ex-husband. This is your Weird and Wacky News. She's always in it. And this is also Associated Press and Silt, Colorado. An investigation is being conducted into the apparent altercation between U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert and her ex-husband Jason Boebert at a restaurant. Police in Silt, Colorado confirmed Sunday. You know, she's kind of lucky she can change her last name back to her original if she wanted. Wouldn't even know where she was.
Yeah.
That's the way I prefer it. It is unclear what happened on Saturday, but lap dance Lauren's campaign released a statement Sunday in which he said she didn't punch Jason in the face, and no one was arrested. I will be consulting with my lawyer about the false claims he made against me and evaluate all my legal claims. Chief Police Mike Kite confirms the investigation, but declined to release details, including who called police. Officers plan to talk to police and ask the restaurant owners for any video that might have captured what happened, Kite said. The Miners Claim restaurant issued a statement Monday saying it was cooperating with the investigation. Since the beginning, the Miners Claim has fully cooperated with law enforcement and intends to continue until this matter is resolved. Jason Boebert did not respond to the Facebook message from the Associated Press seeking comment, but told the Denver Post that he called the police on Sunday morning to say he didn't want to press charges. I don't want nothing to happen, says Jason Boebert. Here and I were working through a difficult conversation. Kite declined to say whether Jason Boebert made that call. This is a sad situation for all, and another reason I'm moving, Lauren Boebert's statement said. So, Boebert, a Republican who served 3 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives in the western side of Colorado, announced on December 27th that she was switching congressional district this year to run for a seat representing the eastern side of the state. That seat is open with retirement of Republican U.S. Rep. Ken Buck. Handjob Barbie probably would have faced a Democratic challenger who nearly defeated her in 2022 general election, who has far outraised her. In September, Boebert and a guest were kicked out of a music performance of Beetlejuice in Denver after guests complained they were vaping, singing, and using phones and causing a disturbance. She later apologized. A relatively short time in Washington, Boebert has built a national profile and has aligned with the extreme right wing of the GOP. Her assertive style has grabbed headlines, and she's basically an uneducated 36-year-old grandmother who got in the Senate for, "Hi, I'm a girl and I got a gun." That's basically her campaign slogan. In other news, we reported yesterday on the Alaska Airlines plane falling apart. Here's another update from NPR. Ayana Archie. Before a door plug flew off a Boeing plane, an advisory light came on 3 times. That's right, an advisory light in Alaska Airlines plane that lost a piece of its fuselage last week had come on during previous flights, preventing the aircraft from being used on long flights over water, the National Transportation Safety Board said. Additionally, the flight crew and attendants described the atmosphere aboard Friday's Alaska Airlines operated Boeing 737 MAX 9 flight as chaotic, loud, and very violent once a door plug flew off and left a vast hole in the side of the plane. The flight, carrying 171 passengers and 6 crew, returned safely back to Portland, Oregon. There were no injuries. A door plug is used to fill a doorway and held together by 12 shop fittings, which would prevent the door plug from becoming dislodged. In this case, the plug was not used for a functional door, the NTSB chairperson Jennifer Homendy said at the Sunday news conference. The door plug was found in the backyard of a Portland school teacher named Bob, Homendy said. 2 cell phones were also found, one on the side of the road and the other in a yard, she added. We talked about that cell phone yesterday. An advisory light came on during 3 previous flights. On 3 prior flights to Friday's, the plane auto pressurization fail light came on, Homendy said. The flights happened on December 7th of last year and then on January 3rd and 4th, just prior to last Friday's flight. The light coming on is very benign, Homendy said, and it was tested by maintenance crews and reset. Oh, it's a problem with the light. It's a broken light. I don't know. I'm not an airplane crew, so I can't speak to it. We don't know that there was any correlation of the two, Homendy said. It could be entirely separate. Alaska Airlines then temporarily restricted the plane from being flown over water to Hawaii so that it could be easily accessible to an airport. Yeah, there ain't a whole lot of airports between Hawaii and Alaska. Portland or anywhere. Hawaii and anywhere, there ain't no airports. The airline requested that maintenance crews examine the light. However, the request had not been fulfilled before the plug came off. Well, you don't want to find out it's broken the hard way, do you? The moment the door plug broke, when the plug flew off, the flight crew reported hearing a loud bang, Homendy said in the news conference. The crew immediately put on their oxygen mask. The quick reference checklist flew out the cockpit door, which had flung open, and jammed the door to the bathroom, which was empty. Instead, the captain handed the quick reference handbook to the first officer who had jolted forward, causing her headset to come off. The crew put their oxygen masks on and turned on the speakers to alert those in the cabin. The circuit breaker in the cockpit voice recorder was not pulled, so the recorder was therefore empty, Homendy said. Communication was a serious issue. The flight attendants reported that the difficulty to get information from the flight deck, and the flight deck was having trouble also communicating. The NTSB has interviewed 2 flight attendants who were at the front of the plane and were interviewed 2 who were in the back of the plane Monday. The plane seats 178 people. The 171 on board, including 4 unoccupied minors and 3 babies, were put in laps of caregivers, Homendy said. Homendy applauded the work of the flight crew and attendants. After an explosive event occurred Sunday, suddenly the flight attendants were very focused on what was going on with those children. Were they safe? Were they secure? Did they have their lap belts on? Did they have their masks on? And they did. Homendy pointed out that the NTSB, as well as the Federal Aviation Administration and Alaska Airlines, encouraged caregivers to purchase seats for infants under the age of 2 and safely strap them into a car seat. Oh yeah, we encourage that because we make money off it. The plug was positioned in row 26 on the left side of the plane. No one was seated in those 2 seats adjacent to the door seats in 26 and 26A and 26B. Aha! So they knew something was up because they didn't see anybody there. That makes me wonder. There was only 4 empty seats and those were 2 of them. The headsets on both of the seats are gone and the tray table in the back of 26A is missing. The seats have been sent to the NTSB to be inspected. There's a lot of damage to the paneling and trim around the area. The seal of the window is undamaged, Hamidi said. Right, so there you go. Everybody's safe. Plane flew apart. Everybody's 171 people got a story for the rest of their lives. They can sit around and tell you about the time a plane flew apart. Well, sit down. Now spin a yarn.
There's going to be some people who are never going to fly again, and there are going to be some people who are just going to add it to another list of things that's happened to them.
Yep. And 89 people immediately got out their phones. Got it on video. Back to you.
My plane's falling apart live. Live stream.
I get to film my own death. Yay!
Found footage documentary. Okay.
Well, the phone survived, so.
Yeah. In our culture news, remember, you know that giant sphere in Las Vegas? And how London, we talked about this, 4 months ago. London was like, hey, we should do that too. But it looks like they're not going to end up doing it after all. This is by Theo Ferrant. Withdrawal marks the end of a lengthy planning saga for the proposed entertainment venue in East London. Plans for the Las Vegas-style Sphere venue in East London's former Olympic Park by the U.S. company Madison Square Garden Entertainment, MSG, has officially been withdrawn. In a letter to Planning Inspectorate, MSG expressed that it was extremely disappointing that Londoners would miss out. Oh no. Londoners would miss out on a groundbreaking technology and thousands of jobs promised by the 21,000 capacity Sphere venue planned for Stratford. The company, having spent millions on acquiring the 4.7-acre site left vacant since 2012 London Olympics, emphasized its frustration with the process it deemed a political football between rival parties. Last year, a monumental spherical venue with a price tag of $2.3 billion, or 2.19 billion euros, and a soaring height of 366 feet, or 111 meters, began illuminating the Las Vegas skyline. Conceived by James Dolan, the executive chair of Madison Square Garden and owner of the New York Knicks and Rangers, the Sphere stands as a cutting-edge entertainment venue with a seating capacity of 70,600. On the 29th of September 2023, the highly anticipated moment arrived when the Sphere was unveiled to the world for the first time, setting the stage for U2's 25-show residency there. Since then, the venue has hosted various events and screenings, including the premiere of Darren Aronofsky's new film, Postcard from Earth. Proudly claiming the title of possessing the world's largest concert-grade audio system, the Sphere's exterior is wrapped with 1.2 million hockey puck-sized LEDs, which can be meticulously programmed to produce dynamic and colossal image displays. Why was it rejected? Probably for a lot of reasons that I can think of off my head right now. Despite collaborative efforts over a 5-year planning period and approval from local planning authorities, MSG felt compelled to withdraw from its process it viewed as entangled in political dynamics. The decision after London Mayor Sadiq Khan rejected the planning application for the Sphere in November last year. Khan's ruling said the venue would cause significant light intrusion, resulting in significant harm to the outlook of neighboring properties, detriment to human health, and significant harm to general amenity enjoyed by residents of their own homes. In response, Housing Secretary Michael Gove exercised authority to intervene and reassess the rejection of the plan permission by Khan. However, Sphere Entertainment, affiliated with MSG on a sister firm, had written to Gove communicating their intention to withdraw the application and abstain from participating in the call-in process. According to a report advised by firm EY commissioned by MSG, the Sphere is projected to create up to 3,200 jobs across the UK and contribute to £2.5 billion, or 2.9 billion euros, to London's economy in the first 20 years. Spokesperson for Sphere Entertainment reiterated the company's commitment to work with forward-thinking cities around the world that are serious about hosting the project. How would it create 3,200 jobs across the UK. I can understand just in London, but I don't understand how it could do it across the UK. Like people from Scotland are gonna somehow be working for the sphere. I don't understand that. But just another person who wanted their money back because they, bought some land, had some big plans for it, and didn't realize, oh wait, my giant light sphere affects people. Like, I can understand it happening in Las Vegas because that place is already lit up like crazy. But London is not lit up like that. It's just going to... I mean, even looking at pictures of the sphere in Las Vegas, it's the brightest thing in the city. And it's huge. So why would you want that right outside your house, Right there, just all the time. London is much more compact than Las Vegas, I want to say. So, yeah, there's probably a lot of people living right outside the Olympic Stadium lands that are just going to have this huge bright light. Sorry?
Las Vegas with their fake Eiffel Tower and their fake Sphinx and their fake pyramids. And now somebody wants to imitate them?
Well, it's not that they want to imitate it, right? They explicitly are saying no. The English are explicitly saying, I'm not really interested in your giant sphere. It just so happens that an American company, right, owns the land in London, right? So it's just Americans trying to put their grotesque giant light sphere in London, and then the mayor is like, I'm not interested in this. You can, bye.
He's a rich idiot. He owns the Madison Square Garden in New York Knicks. He's an idiot, so yeah.
Why doesn't
a rich idiot? Yeah.
And it's just a rich person thing to say too. I guess I'll go to a place where a city will appreciate my innovation. Since you guys are interested, you're gonna miss out on 2.9 billion to your economy.
That's what I was looking for. A vanity project.
Yeah.
So my intense importance is very important, and you need to experience it.
All right, your day in history.
All right, this day in history, 1861. Florida seceded from the Union in February 1861, joined the Confederacy. Of course, at the time, Abe Lincoln was quoted as saying, "What are we going to do with all of that disgusting swampland?" Sorry. 1861, what was in Florida? It didn't have Disneyland, I guarantee you. 1901, the first major oil field in Texas was discovered near Beaumont. Speaking of swampland, basically a big old flat swampy part of Texas. 1920, the League of Nations was established in Geneva. 1924, American jazz drummer and percussionist Max Roach was born. Not Papa Roach. 1946, the first United Nations General Assembly met in London. 1946, also on this day, radar signals bouncing off the moon were detected for the first time. Yeah, they decided to point their radar at the moon. In 1949, American boxer George Foreman, who became the oldest world heavyweight boxing champion in 1994, was born in Marshall, Texas. Of course, George Foreman famously named like 8 of his sons George. Come here, George. Hey, kids, go. Masterpiece Theater in 1971 was debuted on PBS on this day. The first series aired was The First Churchills. 1984, the United States and the Vatican established diplomatic relations after a 117-year break. Broke with the Vatican, huh? That's interesting. 1999, the first episode of The Sopranos aired on HBO, and the dramatic series which starred James Gandolfini and Edie Falco was later widely hailed as a classic. In 2016, British singer and songwriter and actor David Bowie, who transformed himself from that traditional pop crooner into a transcending international superstar, best known for his metaphoric persona. Abrupt shifts in musical genres and status as a fashion icon, died in New York City. Well, David Bowie died in this day in 2016. We know who David Bowie is. They really went to all great lengths to describe David Bowie as if nobody ever heard of him. Our featured event on this day in 1776, Common Sense was published. On this day, Thomas Paine published Common Sense, a 50-page pamphlet that sold more than 500,000 copies within a few months and called for a war of independence that would become the American Revolution. Common Sense, which is it's not common. There's no common sense. It's not a thing. Just doesn't exist. Sorry, folks. You wish it did. It don't. Also, our feature biography, Dame Barbara Hepworth, British sculptor, not a sculpture, a sculptor, was born on this day, January 10th, 1903, died May 20th, 1975, and she was born in Wakefield, England. Other birthdays today, Paul Heinrich, Austrian-born actor, born in 1908. Donald Knuth, American mathematician and computer scientist, born 1938. Rod Stewart's birthday, British singer-songwriter, born in 1945, and we already covered George Foreman. David Bowie and Rod Stewart are the same. David Bowie died on Rod Stewart's birthday. That's an ironic thing, because they were pop stars in England at the same time. Ironic. I don't think they made any records together.
Yeah, I don't
know. National Cut Your Energy Costs Day is January 10th. It's also National Bittersweet Chocolate Day. Bittersweet chocolate. Why not go all the way to sweet chocolate? Because we don't like it, I guess. It's National Houseplant Appreciation Day, so appreciate your houseplants or they will leave you. You'll get up one day.
Don't leave me.
And,
I need to water my house plant.
That's right. They're going to take all their little trinkets and whatnot and hit the road. It's also National Oysters Rockefeller Day, where you take a perfectly good oyster and ruin it. Save the Eagles Day. Well, Oysters Rockefeller is fine, I guess. It's also Save the Eagles Day. Not the band, not the football team, the bird. Save the Eagles. Back to you. Oh, and that's it. All the news that's fit to talk about on this day, January 10th, 2024, and before coffee.
All right, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Another bright and sunny day, even though it's freezing cold outside. So no snow, just cold. And we will see you.
Save the Eagles.
Yeah, we will see you tomorrow on Thursday for our Themeless Thursday, where we just talk about whatever we want. See you then. Here is your mic drop moment.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.